Hello and welcome to day 3 of our Boost Your Self-Confidence 3-day free workshop here in my Facebook group, or perhaps you're watching it later because these will be downloaded to YouTube. So I've absolutely loved putting these lessons together and really sinking into what a core skill it is to really know, good morning, to what a core skill it is to sink into your body and being and start to use your superpowers of mind, body, heart, and soul to actually feel more confident. Good morning, Gail. Um, so part 3, I'm tempted to say it's the most important, but you know what? All of it is really foundational stuff, and I like in my work to be very practical. It's great to have good ideas, but if you don't know how to implement those ideas in a real world way, then it's kind of just an idea. Kind of like when you flick through a food magazine and you go, oh, that's nice, but you know you're never going to cook it. What I want is for you to cook the ideas, make them yours, digest them, and use them to change your life. That's what it's all about. So today, the concept we're going to discuss is this. You are never going to feel confident, that grounded, embodied sense of I'm really happy and comfortable with who I am, unless you're being who you are. Now, this might sound incredibly basic and simple, but honestly, most human beings, when they're trying, that I have seen, I understand I haven't worked with every single human being on the planet, but there's been a lot of them over 20 years. And a lot of them are trying to be confident in being what they're not. Now, let me give an example to try and put this into context. In my early years, sort of, early working years, I don't mean like the school job while I was at high school, but I mean early years corporately working, I had a job with a humongous, like over 100,000 employees company. That's big in Australia because we're not, our population isn't that big. National company. And I was working in this corporate role, and I've always had the intuition that I've got. So obviously when you're younger, life doesn't come with an instruction manual, which is why I wrote this, because it sort of says, did you ever wish your life came with an instruction manual? Well, yeah, I didn't have the instruction manual at that particular point. So I'd had all of this intuition, and I was in a corporate environment where people weren't being authentic. There was a lot of who's who in the zoo. There was a lot of unsaid bitchiness. The energy was bizarre. Like what team you worked in and who you reported to somehow equated to your value as a human being, and whether you should be talked down to or, talked up to. Like it was so strange and so normal for everyone. So me trying to be, and I did very well in this particular job. Like I got 2 promotions in a really short amount of time because I was able to pick things up really quickly, and I learned things quickly. So they could obviously see my potential, and I was kind of offered here's your corporate future opportunity. They were happy to invest in me. But had I tried to be confident, fitting into that environment and playing that game, I could never have been confident doing that, because it isn't actually a match for my values and who I am. I came here on planet Earth to be doing this. So going to work back then was going to work. It was putting on a uniform. I quite like putting on the snazzy uniform, and I still do that sometimes when I feel like it, or I've got a snazzy talk to do or something. But it was basically going and for 8+ hours a day being a restriction of myself and having conversations that were not the conversations that I wanted to have in terms of professionally. I had great conversations with the people that I worked with, and people have always told me their deep hopes and their deep dreams and stuff they've never told anyone, because that's obviously, I just exude a safety to do that, and I really was meant to be doing this work. So that's just the first example that came off the top of my head. When we're trying to be what we're not, there is no authentic confidence there, because we're not being authentic. So when if we're wanting to feel confident doing something that we perhaps grew up thinking that we were meant to do, like, a classic example would be, like a family full of lawyers, and the idea is that everyone joins the family law firm. You're not necessarily going to be confident in your life as a lawyer and everything that comes with that if that's actually not your congruent truth. So the way to be confident, that grounded, authentic, I really love being me. And I don't mean, like I said in the sales copy for this free program, I don't mean that showy, on a podium, look at me, I'm so great, that kind of ego-y thing. Nothing wrong with a podium, but the difference between that, someone that's just walking in their truth. There's an energy, but a peace and a self-acceptance in that. And there's also an acceptance of other people in that. Truly confident people are never bullies. They don't ever have to put someone else down so that they can, by contrast, feel better. It's just not what happens when you're a confident person. So real confidence, what I'm talking about, that embodied, grounded sense of self, comes from actually being and listening to your sense of self. Now, all of my work lately, 5 years ago, I released that book I held up before, and this year I've released The Happiness Recipe, is about giving you tools to do that. So your body is giving you real-time feedback about how in alignment you are with yourself. And if you watch the webinar I did recently, which was the Happiness Recipe webinar, I suggest you check it out if you haven't seen it. I'll pop the link in the comments, actually. I went through a process where I got you to tune in to your body and start to feel what yes feels like, and what no feels like, and what I'm not sure feels like. And because I've done that in detail in the webinar, I'm not going to spend heaps of time on it today, but we'll just have a little sneak preview. So I want you to think about a job that you love to do. So perhaps it is a physical job. So for me, I'm planning my book launch at the moment, my physical in-person book launch, quite, basically in my hometown. And the idea of turning up to that feels great. So to me, that would be a yes. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. It's on the 24th of March, 2019, for those of you that are watching currently and live somewhere near me. It's at the Frankston Arts Centre in Melbourne, Australia. So when I think about that, it's a yes to me. If someone said to me, and honestly, I don't think it would matter what price tag was associated with it, if someone offered me a job back in that organisation that I was talking about before, that would be a no for me. Unless somehow it was the only way that it would be a yes is if I got to be doing what I love, maybe coaching their people or something like that. But in terms of that old job, it would feel like a straitjacket. It would feel like a no. So I want you to think of a job that you are happy to do. It might be a job at home. Maybe you love to cook. Maybe you love to garden. or something like that. So think of something, a job. It can be a physical, like a working job, a whatever, a fun job, a task. Think of something that you, if you were given the opportunity to do it, you would say yes. No questions asked, yes. Now I want you to feel into your body. And when I say drop into your body a lot. And what I mean is really, instead of feel what it feels like in your body. Sometimes you need to put a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. You see me do that quite a bit. And just breathe in where that hand on your belly actually moves. So when we're going, that bottom hand doesn't move. So just breathe in, let that bottom hand move. We're arriving into the now, where all of our wisdom is, where all of our resources are, like we talked about on day one. So just do a nice big deep breath. Oh, our bodies love this. And think about that job that you want to do, being offered that job. Like, hey, do you want to spend an hour in the garden? Do you want to do this? Would you like to work for this company? Whatever it is, just imagine being offered it and feel what yes feels like. And for those of you watching on Facebook Live or afterwards, you tag me in a comment and you're welcome to just let me know, what does yes feel like? So yes, for me, feels like an opening. It feels like an energy that moves kind of upwards. There's a sense of kind of openness when my body feels like a yes. This is one of the skills that I go into in a lot of depth when I teach the happiness recipe one day workshop. So I'm doing like this tiny, like 3-minute version. That's what yes feels like. So now we're going to do the opposite, and I want you to feel what no feels like. So think of a job that you don't want to do. Hey, I live on this massive street. There's, do you know what I mean, 150 houses in this little block on this road. You want to clean everyone's toilets, right? Maybe that's a no. Think about a job at an organization you wouldn't want to go back to. Think about a domestic job that you're like, no thanks, if I could get away with not doing that, that'd be great. Think about a job that you would say no to. Like, no questions asked. So you don't have to go, oh, can I do it on Friday? No questions, just a straight out no. Before we do that, we're going to take another deep breath. So hand on heart, hand on tummy. If you're driving, obviously don't, but just a nice big deep breath, and really feel your bum on the chair if you're sitting down. Just really sinking into your body. Your wisdom is from your toes to your head. There's wisdom in your hands. There's wisdom in every cell of your body. We want to use it. You know, this bit up here is just a fraction. So just breathing deep. I'll follow my own advice and do the same. So nice big deep breath. Sometimes when there's energy to burn, you'll make that that noise, that sigh noise. I've been up for a couple of hours and I've been doing all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm like, that's why I'm making the noise. You don't always have to make the noise. So you've done your deep breath. I want you to think about being offered that thing that you are a hands down absolutely no for. Do you want to do this thing? What does no feel like? So for me, no, I did the do you want to clean everyone's toilets because that amused me. So no to me felt like a constriction. I could feel kind of a tightening, a moving in. Often no for me, when I think about who I wouldn't want to hug or things that are a little bit more physical, often the no is lower down. My cleaning everyone's toilets no was more of an upper body. So it just felt like a restriction, like a bit of a tightening. And so that's my body saying no. Now, I've been doing this for years and years and years and years. So I'm really clear when I ask my body something, I'm really clear what yes and no feel like. And the little disclaimer that I'm going to put around this, which I also discussed in the webinar, is that to me, for that yes signal that we talked about before, that's what I call congruency. When you have that yes, that's your mind, body, heart, and soul all saying yes. They're all in agreement. Yeah. And the no is that incongruency. So the little caveat I'm going to put on this teaching is sometimes it's really important to check congruency over time. So if, let's say you don't like blood tests. So if I go, hey, do you want to have someone stick a needle in your arm and take some blood? You might be a congruency signal that your body goes, no. But perhaps some things gone around, and it's really, really important for you to know that you don't have it. So if you think about, okay, if you feel into the freedom of having that result and going, you know what, I really want to know that I'm an all clear for this. And along the way, I'm going to have to do this icky thing, but I'm really a congruent yes for the result. Sometimes we need to tune into the result. So sometimes human beings are very, very good at short-term pain or discomfort for long-term gain. So, you know, I know when I was younger, it was fine to have a job I didn't really like younger, because I was saving up to do a holiday I really wanted to do. So the congruency was around what I was doing it for. So I hope that makes sense. But the skill that I want you to have is that ability to know your being when it's saying yes and when it's saying no. And here's the thing. If you were offered the opportunity to speak in front of a couple of hundred people at an event, which is what I'm getting excited about my book launch, that might be an absolutely hell no congruency signal no for you. So what I mean is that what is a yes for you is a yes specifically for you. You have got a blueprint for your own happiness recipe. You have your own care label that is honestly as individual as your fingerprints. And what's a yes for you, what enlivens you, what inspires you, what gives you energy is going to be different to what's a yes for me. What's a no? No for me might be your favorite thing on earth. What's a yes for me might be a no for you. It's like we're all different, and we actually need that in society. Otherwise, we'd all be wanting to be married to the same person, doing the same job, and there'd be no diversity. So it's just about really knowing that. And that's why other people's advice, when it's telling you what to do, is never as relevant as someone that's able to support you to tune in to feeling what you feel is right for you. And that's why my book, The Happiness Recipe, isn't teaching my happiness recipe. It's not teaching get up at 5:30, run courses online, do this, do that, because that's the stuff that enlivens me. And it might be like you might be a night owl that doesn't ever want to be on video, and yay. Like you get to be you. We need inventors, we need painters, we need chefs, we need, the amazing people that contribute into our community by helping at schools and volunteering. Like we need all of it. And it's so important. Hi, Jennifer. It's so important for you to tune in and get to know what's a yes for you. Because that's how you're being. And that yes isn't just physical. Congruency is mind, body, heart, and soul. When your whole being says yes to things, if you are living in alignment with that truth, it is so much easier to feel confident because you're not trying to be what you're not. So I hope that all lands in a way that's really useful. Because you think about that energy that we tuned into before, that job that you'd say no to. Imagine turning up to that every day for a year but somehow expecting yourself to be confident and vibrant in that. It's like, nah, nah, it's not, it's not how it works. It's very similar to, you know, someone that you want to hug, someone that you love, that you, you know, with my kids, we call it having a burst. It's like, I'm having a burst, which just means you just want to go, oh, yes. You know, you just want to hold them close. It's a congruency, yes. And there are people on planet Earth that you don't want to have a burst with, you know, and that's okay. Not everyone is for everyone. So if you think about someone that you don't want to hug, that for whatever reason you chose to, the energy of that's totally different. You're not ever going to be confident in your ability to do a really great hug when you're hugging someone that your body's like, oh my goodness, when's this going to be over? And the rest of our life is no different. So for that deeply felt, authentic sense of self, of which confidence is a really beautiful part, we need to be being who we are. Now, for some of you, I know for me, you know, many moons ago, when I was 19 years old, when I started on my personal development kind of healing path. And, you know, at the time I was in a relationship with someone that I literally trained from our first date that I would do all of the adulting and he could be not that. And I'd literally just trained him not to consider me, not to respect me. I was upset. I felt disrespected, but I had no skills for how to express that. And I didn't have the self-esteem to know that to know what I deserved and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're in a life, I know some of you will be in life circumstances where you're just like, well, none of my life is a yes at the moment. What the hell am I going to do? Like, great idea, but what am I going to actually do with that? And I'm laughing with understanding. I'm just like, I know sometimes we've set our lives up in a way that doesn't honor us. And that's where embodiment is so important, because there are so many people in that kind of situation and their body's giving them the feedback. You know, at its most extreme, the feedback is anxiety. It's the body going, I can't keep doing this. I'm out of alignment with who I am. I can't keep doing it. I'm stressed. Just like a tropical plant planted down, you know, down near the South Pole would be showing signs of stress before it finally carked. Human beings not planted in places that nourish them in all ways, like mind, body, heart, and soul, they show signs of stress too. So at its extreme, our body is giving us the feedback of anxiety. It's giving us the feedback of depression, that oh my goodness, who doubled the gravity? Everything is so heavy and hard, and I'm not inspired to do anything. And often when we dig down underneath the layers, we're not inspired because what's around us isn't actually a match. So if your life has got, I'm being extreme on purpose, but if your life is filled with the people that you're meant to hug that you don't want to, and a job that you're a no for that you've got to turn up for, and a whole lot of circumstances, none of which are a yes, your brilliant body working perfectly is going to be giving you some really clear feedback. And we get into trouble when we medicate that feedback away rather than listening to it. Feedback like that, stress, frustration, resentment, especially anger, all of those things, ongoing sadness, they're all feedback that something needs to change. Good morning, Belle. So listening to this feedback is so important. It's the start of confidence. And to put it into a different context, let's have a think about really good parenting. So if you want your children to grow up confident, one of the things that you're probably doing is letting them know that they matter, that how they feel matters. Now, I'm not talking about raising someone that feels entitled to win everything and like that teaching them that only they matter, right? I'm talking about teaching your child that within the community of the family and within the broader community that they get to consider themselves as well as other people. Yeah. If your child was, in terms of congruency, like an absolute no for something, like absolutely no, I don't want to do that, depending on the circumstances, you would, I mean, I know for me it's a situation by situation process. Sometimes you need to teach children resilience. It's not all about what they want to do, but it's also about teaching them to understand the wisdom inside their body. So in terms of, teaching them that how they feel matters. Let's think about a really good leader or manager in a workplace. So hopefully all of you at some point have experienced excellent leadership. Or you can imagine what it would be like to have a manager that supported you and that encouraged you. Now, a manager that supports and encourages you, that understands you, isn't going to put you in a situation that you're a no for. If there's a position available in the company that's a step below you, doing things that don't match your skill set, that your manager knows you don't want to do, they're not going to encourage you to do that as being part of a great leader. They're going to know that's not a fit for you. If a job comes up in your organization, and even if it is a step below or it's a sideward step or something, so it doesn't have to be a promotion, but they know it's doing what lights you up because they've taken the time to get to know you, they might run it past you. That's good leadership. They're letting you know about the things that match you. You don't push a staff member into something that's going to break them. That's not good leadership. You give them opportunities to enhance and to grow, but you don't make them do things that they're like having a nervous breakdown about. So I want to invite you, in a sense, to parent you lovingly. So many of us have got parents' feedback going on around and around in our head, even after the parents are no longer here on planet Earth, still playing restrictions that we got in the past about what we're capable of and what we're meant to be doing. And sometimes the same is true for bad management as well. So I want you to parent yourself with loving messages. I want you to lead yourself, because all of us really are the CEO of us. I am the CEO of Aisha.com, and you are the CEO of you. So offer yourself some really great leadership. What we're wanting to do is land in the truth of who you are and give yourself permission to thrive as the being that you are. So it means don't break yourself. Don't set goals that you are terrified to take steps towards. It's just work towards. We don't get our toddler to turn up at university and then tell them that they're an idiot. It's like, it's a process. It's a process. You are in the process of becoming more of who you are. And if you can follow the tools that I've given you in the last 3 days, you will be boosting your self-confidence. You will be being in the now, which is where our power is. You will be being in the now and listening to the wisdom of your body and understanding that stress is feedback. It's not to be managed so that you can keep being stressed. It's to be listened to. And the most important thing, I said it, the most important thing is to be who you are. You're here to be you. And you've got this onboard embodied wisdom every single day giving you guidance. So lead yourself, parent yourself, give yourself positive messages, play that radio station of, I'm in the process of learning to feel more confident FM, or, Happy Mojo FM, or Loving Life FM, or whatever it is, your positive radio station. We had some great suggestions that came out of our earlier lessons, for just understanding that your internal dialogue is like a radio station, and only you get to choose what you play day in, day out. No one, even if you're surrounded by controlling people, No one knows what you're thinking inside your head. You can be thinking, I'm in the process of learning how to remove myself from this situation and have a life filled with more yes. And no one will even know. So that we've come to a close of these 3 free lessons. As I'm sure you've already picked up, I have a lot of enthusiasm about this topic, and I've learnt a great deal between my beginning at 19 and my now at 43 years old. And I have been working with clients for just over 20 years, 16 of them in my own private practice, and before that I worked for other people and bits for me on the side, but actually started my business Holistic Vitality 16 years ago. So I've got lots and lots and lots of experience in helping people in the real world, real people, transform low self-esteem and lack of confidence into the kind of grounded confidence I'm talking about today. And the beauty of being in business for as long as I've been is that I get to see, like, I've been on the journey with some people for 10 years. I knew them before they were parents, and now they've got, an 8-year-old, or I knew them while they were at uni and now they're practicing their craft, or I knew them when they were working and now they're retired and living their dreams. Like, it's just front row seats at the best job on earth, watching people really land in the truth of who they are and get genuinely empowered to design and cultivate and love the life they're living. It just, it's fantastic. You need water when you talk flat out for half an hour. Okay. So the other thing I realized after day one, I was wanting these lessons to be half an hour so they're not too overwhelming, but I finished day one and just started writing all this stuff of wanting to go deeper. I know for some of you, what I've shared is going to be enough. It's enough. The foundations are there and it's enough for you to try and practice things. And I know for others of you, you would really benefit from, a container to explore this material in a way that actually gets individualized and personalized for you. So I started on after day one, getting, inspired and thinking about what I can pull together to help you as much as I can to experience this grounded confidence that I know you've got the ingredients for. And I worked on it yesterday and I finished it off this morning. So I've put together a 4-week program, Enhance Your Confidence. And I would love for you to check it out. I put the link in the comments. Just have a look. There's a sales page put up on my website that I finished off this morning. And it's an opportunity to have me on Team You in a really small group for a month. So we would have a call each week. We would have our own secret little Facebook group where we can basically all communicate through the whole 4 weeks. And you get 2 one-on-one sessions with me, private one-on-one sessions where we get to actually dig into your core, to your congruency, and clear so much of the clutter that's in the way between your beautiful, authentic self and this life you're living. So if you've gotten some value from our 3 days and you're thinking, I would like some more of this, or you know what, it's time for me to prioritize me, and I want to have someone on board with me who can mentor and guide, and who's got 2 decades of experience helping people do what I want to do, then check the link out and come along, join me. It's going to be a very, very small group. I want everyone on it to have lots of me, not just in the one-on-one sessions, but just being able to really hold a container, because we're not actually meant to be doing this thing alone. Something quite amazing happens when a group of like-minded, like-hearted people come together with a common purpose. And I want to hold the space for you to really start to shine your truth and enhance that confidence that is in there. The pilot light is on, it's in there, and I want to turn it into something really life-changing. So you're welcome to tag me in a comment. Oh, hello, Rachel. Hi, Belle. You're welcome to tag me in a comment, ask me any questions that you like. Check out that sales page, and we start in about 3 weeks. So there's lots of time to have a little bit of a think. Once I hit those numbers, then it'll shut down, but I'll keep you posted in the group. So I just took an extra 5 minutes to talk about that because I'm so excited about this workshop. Thank you so much for being with me for the last 3 days. It's been an absolute pleasure to have those of you on live. Thank you for those that join later and ask me questions, connect with me. I'm here in this group to serve you. So deep, happy smiles from my heart and soul to yours. I'll be seeing you soon. And thank you for joining me. Have an awesome day and a great weekend.